Will you sue him for us?
Oh, we're going to definitely sue him. We're going to be a real pain in the ass.
I will never be afraid to challenge this illegitimate president.
We need to focus on Donald Trump. We need to follow his money.
What is fueling my soul right now is Trump.
This illegitimate president. I look forward to going into the office of Attorney General every day, suing him, and then going home.
Do you know the real reason why the libnuts in the media are pissed off? Have you been wondering what their real objective has been all along? Well, in this video, I'm going to tell you.
You can almost hear it. The tick, tick, tick as the disgraced, twice impeached, 4 times indicted ex-president slowly runs out of time to post that massive, nearly $500 million bond in a civil fraud case.
As the political implications go, I think that what we are dealing with politically is the much larger and much more grave and serious pressure.
Shut up and make me a sandwich, you moron. I can't believe that they put that imbecile on television.
Of having this judgment against Donald Trump and him being in this degree of debt and the financial pressures that he is under and what he is subject to do in order to obtain those assets. I actually think that there is risk in not seizing these assets and the open window that exists in him trying to secure these funds through other means. We've seen a lot of interesting transactions happening with Truth Social and other means, and there's a very real risk of political corruption.
By now, you know what happened. Donald Trump got his bond reduced by over half.
I'm being told right now that that bond, that $500 million bond that had been set and that the former president had to deal with today, has now been reduced to $175 million. So that $465 million plus bond that he was looking at has now been reduced. As of right now, we're getting this breaking news. This appeals court allowing the former president to post a smaller bond of $175 million within 10 days. David, what does that tell you?
Jose, it tells me something that you and I have talked about before, and that is the playbook is different for former President Trump. We were literally talking about this the last time you and I discussed this case. I expect for them to do something for him that's different than what you see for everybody else when they go to court. So here, he's given more time to pay less money. That's what it comes down to.
The effect of getting the bond reduced and being given an extra 10 days to place the bond means that Letitia James can't do any more enforcement, can't do anything to Donald Trump or any of his properties. As you might imagine, the liberal media and the nuts, they're not taking this too well. Let's check in on a few of them right now.
This is so infuriating, I don't even know what to do. I don't even know if I care what the process is that these judges are arriving at. Whatever it is, it's flawed. I can tell you that much. I mean, David put it well. This is a different process for this person. We have decided that he gets his own private court of justice. He has a private plane. He has private clubs that he lives in. Apparently, he basically fashioned himself his own private militia to try to take over the Capitol. Now he's getting his own private system of justice. This is an absolute travesty. It would not happen for anybody else. Anybody else, it would be like, sorry, buddy, you lost, pay up. For him, he gets his own set of rules.
Yep, they're losing their ever-loving minds. That dude on MSNBC, which we're going to see a little bit more of in a little while, is a former federal prosecutor, and he's talking about things that have nothing to do with the case at hand. That's an indication to tell you this has nothing to do with Donald Trump raising money for a bond. Nope. It had everything to do with them kneecapping Donald Trump's campaign for presidency. As I said in the previous video, Dementia Joe cannot compete with Donald Trump. Their only option is to somehow find a way to remove Donald Trump from the race. And of course, Donald Trump knows that.
And that was done by Biden and his thugs also, because they can't win an election because of the borders, because of energy prices, because of inflation, because of Afghanistan, the worst and most embarrassing day in the history of our country. He can't win because of Russia, because of all the problems, because of Ukraine being attacked by Russia. And he can't win because of the October 7th attack of Israel, which he should have never allowed to happen. Would have never happened if I were president. Ukraine would have never been attacked if I was president. And you wouldn't have inflation if I was president. We didn't have inflation. So all of these things, so what they do is they do election interference, which is court cases, and let's try and tie him up, and let's take as much of his money as possible. I respect the appellate division for substantially reducing that ridiculous amount of money that was put on by a corrupt judge.
They really thought these made-up charges by Fannie Willis and Alvin Bragg and Letitia James, strengthened by this crooked judge, this crooked, creepy judge up in New York, would stop Donald Trump. And now, most of the media cannot even fathom, they cannot believe that the courts afforded Donald Trump some fairness. I'm going to react to a quick piece on MSNBC, and it's really telling. Listen to the words they say. Let's cut to it.
The appellate court has now just decided they're going to swoop in.
No, see right there? I got to stop them right there. That in itself is a lie. The appellate court doesn't decide to just swoop in. They are given a petition, and that petition is a plea from Donald Trump and his attorneys. Hey, you need to take a look at this. So right off the bat, they're absolutely lying to your face.
Just change it, and that's it. This appears to be an absolute gross miscarriage of justice.
Gross miscarriage of justice. That's how he wanted to phrase this. What the appellate court did was work under the doctrine of due process. Donald Trump had a grievance. He didn't like how he was treated in court. The next part of the process is to appeal. So he appealed. Everybody is afforded that. There's no special issue just for Donald Trump. Everybody has the ability to appeal what they feel was an egregious judgment.
So let's go into it, because I'm getting right now, and this literally is just coming across. And it is ordered that the motion is granted the extent of staying enforcement of these portions of the judgment ordering disgorgement to the Attorney General of $464,576,000 conditioned on defendants posting within 10 days of the date of this order.
Okay, just so you understand, what they did was that stupid judge said, hey, listen, we're going to give you a bond of $466 million plus $100,000 in interest every single day. The appellate court stepped in after getting Donald Trump's request and said, this is stupid. We're going to take $300 million right off the top. There's no reason to have this guy come up with $470 million. We're going to take $300 right off the top, and we're going to give you 10 days to put it together.
An undertaking in the amount of $175 million.
MSNBC didn't have what Donald Trump's attorneys posted. They don't know what he filed, but obviously it was enough. The court saw enough evidence to say, let's pump the brakes on this. But nobody wants to tell you that. Let's continue.
How do they come up with a number of 175 from 476,500 million to $175 million? How does this happen?
You didn't ask a previous question. How did it get to $465 million? See, that's the bigger question. Nobody wants to ask that question. How did Judge Erganon, whatever his name is, have the gall, have the audacity to say, I want a $460 million bond? MSNBC and the Libnuts never asked that question.
You know, they don't give us the benefit of their calculus in that order, right? Because I was sitting here trying to process that myself. But the other thing I'm sitting here thinking, and here's something that I cannot stress enough. Every day, every courtroom in America, if we go there and we sit in that courtroom, we will find someone whose back is really up against the wall because they cannot afford to pay something that they have been ordered to pay. And they will generally plead with the court to reduce the amount they have to pay. And the court may give them some leeway, but you do not see it happen like this.
You don't? What do you mean you don't? If you look at it in terms of percentages, a bond is not supposed to be punitive. A bond is to secure you showing up and performing. So if a drug dealer or a murderer does something, they want to make sure we got you now, and we're going to make sure you show up to court. So it's not meant to be based upon how much money you have. It's meant to secure your performance. Donald Trump has all these properties. They're not going anywhere. See, that's the thing that they're not talking about. These properties he's not going to pick them up, put them in a suitcase and run away. He's not going to flee the jurisdiction. The properties are still there. If he ends up losing in his appeal, she can still go after him. So there's no risk. What's the risk? There's only one risk, and that one risk is that Donald Trump will have the funds to continue with his presidential candidacy. That's their objective. It wasn't to take the properties. It had nothing to do with taking the properties. It had 100% everything to do with them kneecapping him and hopefully cleaning him out, bankrupting him so that he couldn't continue with his presidential campaign. That's the deviousness. That's the insidiousness of what they were actually trying to do. And that's why they're melting down today. Let's continue.
People of the state of New York deserve better than to have this happen. And we have to remember, that's who the plaintiff is here. It's not Letitia James or her office or whatever. Yes, they are our public servants who are doing.
Oh, I'm sorry. Were there people lining up at Letitia James's office from the state of New York complaining that they were defrauded by Donald Trump? Was there a single victim who said, hey, listen, I was defrauded by Donald Trump? Was there anyone? He says for the people of New York. Was there any person, give me a single person who filed a complaint with Letitia James and said, you need to look in this guy, Donald Trump, because he's defrauding us? Because any other prosecutor would say, I need a victim. You undervalued or overvalued these properties so you could take advantage of lenders. Didn't that happen? No. Did he not pay you back? Yeah, he paid us back every cent. Oh, we're still going to charge him. So when this guy says she represents the people of New York and he's upset because of that, what people? Nobody stepped up and said, you know what? He owes me money. He defrauded me. She did.
This on her behalf. But the plaintiff is the people of the state of New York, and we deserve better out of our judicial system than to have something like this happen.
Maybe you should have hired another attorney general, one who wouldn't have sold you false promises. What do you deserve out of this? What makes you think you deserve more than an appellate hearing? It's his due process. The appeals court didn't let him go. The appeals court said, hey, listen, we're going to pump the brakes on this bond, but we're still proceeding with the case. They didn't just say it's over. What did you want? What did you think you deserved? Oh, you deserved to bankrupt Donald Trump, take all of his funds, and make sure he wasn't a presidential candidate. Why can't you just be honest and say what you really mean? That's the problem with MSNBC and the rest of these libnuts.
Where we're not actually even getting to find out what the Wizard of Oz is doing behind the damn curtain.
The Wizard of Oz, he's talking about basically the appellate court, all 5 judges. It was a full panel, not just a couple of them, have said, hey, listen, we're stepping this down. We're not going to enforce this kind of bond on this businessman. We're just not going to do it. You're not entitled to see all that information. You don't deserve what you think you deserve. Get over it.
This is ridiculous.
And you realize that nothing really has changed. Think about that. I don't think anyone has told you that. I'll be the first one to tell you nothing has changed. Her judgment, what the judge did and what he said in terms of finding Trump liable for fraud, that's still on the record. The fine of $465 million, that's still on the record. It's still there. The only thing the appellate court did was say we're going to require less of a bond as we move forward through the appellate process. Why would you be screaming from the rafters that this is ridiculous? Doesn't make any sense when that's what the law is. That's specifically what the law says you can do. But since they didn't overturn the decision as of yet, and that the fine and the judge's judgment is still in place, why are you mad, bro? Why are you mad? What makes you so pissed off that the amount of the bond was reduced? Didn't throw out the case. He just said, or the 5 judges just said, we're going to take less for the bond. But you're incensed about it. Again, it's not about the bond. It's about kneecapping Donald Trump. You got to be able to see through this stuff. It's a smokescreen. All the stuff that they're doing isn't to try and convict him or hang him on a fine where he's stuck and cannot run. That's their motivation. They can cry all they want. I don't care. I know that this is how the justice system is supposed to work. You're supposed to have due process. You're supposed to be available to the appellate courts and then the Supreme Court if necessary. You see, these morons hope you don't know anything about the Eighth Amendment, or rather, they don't want you to know about the Eighth Amendment. You see, it doesn't matter if Donald Trump has airplanes or jets. Doesn't matter if he's got skyscrapers all across New York City. Doesn't matter how much money he has. The Eighth Amendment specifically says you cannot put undue, punitive fines on somebody. Pure and simple. Letitia James is who you should be blaming. Judge Ergonon is who you should be blaming. The excessive fines have triggered the Eighth Amendment, which now makes this a constitutional case, takes it out of New York, and eventually it'll land on the Supreme Court. The Eighth Amendment specifically reads, excessive bail shall not be required, nor excessive fines imposed, nor cruel and unusual punishments inflicted. This is a bond. It wasn't a sentence. It was extremely excessive. That is a clear Eighth Amendment issue. A bond isn't intended to be punishment. A bond is merely to secure performance. And like I said, it's like guaranteeing that you show up for court. It's not meant to be the penalty. It's not the penalty phase. The penalty phase already exists. They have a judgment against him. He's appealing that judgment. You see, forcing Trump to sell a property is irreparable. It cannot be fixed. Once the property is sold, it's gone. Then what happens if he actually wins on the appeal? He's not going to get the property back. It's already been sold. That means it's irreparable harm. That's the very definition of punitive and excessive. That is the trigger for the Eighth Amendment. That's why they're having a problem. Once again, the Democrats overplayed their hands. This is a small win for Donald Trump, but it's a win nonetheless. And as far as I'm concerned, any day I see libnuts whining and screaming on TV is a good day for me. And what was funny is at the end of the court hearing, Donald Trump made a statement. And when he made the statement, there was a reporter there who thought he had him in a gotcha question. He wanted to know how Trump was going to collateralize a $175 million bond. Remember, for the last week or so, they've been saying he's broke. They've been calling him Don Corleone. All kinds of stupid things. So what was Donald Trump's answer when this reporter asked him, how are you going to collateralize a $175 million bond? Here's what Trump said.
It will be my honor to post, and we'll post whatever is necessary, whether it be cash or security or bonds. To the decision, we appreciate and respect the appellate division very much. And we will, I think, do very well in that whole thing. We have a judge who I believe is a crooked judge and a crooked attorney general, absolutely crooked. We did nothing wrong at all, 100%, and that was proven, and everybody there said it was proven. All you have to do is read the legal scholars and you see that it was proven. But we will continue with that, but we appreciate very much the decision of the appellate division. Thank you very much.
What's a collateral bond?
Cash.
After hearing that, how could you not support this American badass? So I hope you understand. I wanted to make this video and let you know about the Eighth Amendment, excessive fines, excessive bonds, and understand why they are really upset. They want to take Trump out. My only regret is that I didn't wait till 8 or 9 o'clock to make this video, because I can't wait to see what Joy Reid has to say. Talk to you soon. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about the bond reduction and these whiny liberals. Talk to you soon.